What's good, people? Sam O'Reilly with a Fight Talk podcast in association with Round 8. Myself and Craig Scott joined today by Kevin, the fans' favourite, Smith. How are we doing, Kev?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you, alright?
Tired, mate. Very tired, but we plod along, don't we? We keep going. Can I just say, Kev is truly a fan's favourite now. I've been speaking to a couple of people who have commented on the last couple of podcasts, and they are loving your work, Kev. They're loving your work.
Well, listen, all I can do is keep trying, can't I? That's good. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Who are they? Are you sure are they respectable people? Or? Well, it doesn't matter. We don't want to do names. Not the busiest week of boxing this week. The season is kind of dying down a little bit. Obviously, a bit of breaking news coming out yesterday regarding a certain heavyweight who I know Sam has got a bit of a soft spot for. David Haye has chosen to go separate ways from his trainer Shane McGuigan. Respected Shane McGuigan. Kev, what do you make of that, mate? Is that the right move?
Who else is going to want him? That's the truth, you know. I don't know where he goes from here. I think retirement's calling. I think it's you know, Shane McGuigan has obviously had a couple of, 3 fights with him. Only one that meant anything, which he lost. I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know who would want to work with him. You know, he was fighting on Dave, fighting a few, you know, if I can put it, crap opponents. I don't know where he goes. I don't know who out there would be interested in having him. He's a bit of a liability.
No, listen, you've got it completely wrong, right?
I knew this was coming.
No. All right, there's a two to what you said. I agree with one bit. I don't know where he goes from here, but I couldn't disagree more when you said that no one would want him. The money that man brings in, the fights he brings in, 10% of his purse as a trainer, or 15 or 20%. Any gym in the country wants David Haye. Maybe any gym.
Does he? But does he, mate? He couldn't sell out an arena on Dave, could he?
Because he fought against a YouTube warrior. When it mattered and he fought someone with half a name, he was the A side in that Bellew fight, regardless of what happened. He was the one that put the... They broke, at that time, the pay-per-view record for the country, didn't they?
Sam's got a signed poster where he fought Mark Damori, the YouTube warrior, so don't let him fucking...
Oh yeah, no, I was there.
It's unbelievable.
I was there for him. I was there for the Cobra. That's not my point. Of course, I was there. But
you are just so blinkered, aren't you? That's the problem here.
Exactly.
You know, we can't have a proper conversation when it comes to David A with you.
Let me step in here and add a little bit of clarity. I think these are the rumours that I've been hearing. Weirdly enough, Dave Caldwell. That's not a joke. That's not a joke.
To carry his shirt. Or?
Stop it.
That's not a joke.
It is a joke.
I've heard Dave Caldwell.
Yeah, who told you that?
I heard it through a couple of reputable sources online.
No.
Dave Caldwell.
The Boxing Kingdom or one of them. Fuck off.
I can't imagine that.
Well, it fucking ruins the Bellew rematch, doesn't it? What do you think in terms of if David Haye gets back to full fitness, if he gets back to where he should be or where he was in the lead up to that Bellew fight? What's a good comeback fight for him? Because for me, going straight back in with Bellew or going straight back in with a guy who's not encountered any difficulties physically might be a little bit too far. Does he have a warm up first, or does he go go straight into a big fight?
I think it depends how he's feeling. I think he needs to be honest now as well. I think because going into that fight, he wasn't right. You know, 100%. I'm confident he knew that it wasn't. He couldn't, you know, go the 12 rounds if it got put on him. I don't know who's out there really. You know, he wouldn't want to fight. You know, someone at British level. He wouldn't want to fight European level. I think he'd beat Bellew if he was 100% fit. I do think he'd beat him. I don't think it would be if it was the David Haye of old. If he could get anywhere near that, I think he'd beat Bellew comfortably.
He has to fight differently. He has to fight differently for me. I think the way he went about that fight was completely wrong. Even in the first couple of rounds, when he looked as though he was at his strongest, he was winging in big hooks that were missing by a fucking mile. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he underestimated how good Bellew's footwork was.
Yeah.
I think he expected Bellew to come in and just stand in front of him, and Bellew didn't, and I think he did make him look sloppy. I think if he comes in boxing with his jab and actually, put him under pressure, I think it changes it drastically. So, but I think the game plan has to change, and maybe that's the reason he's not with Shane anymore. Maybe that's the reason.
I can't put my finger on why him and Shane have split up now. The timing feels weird. So, rewind 18 months, but when he announced the comeback, right? He was saying he sought out Shane McGuigan as the man to mastermind the comeback. He loved his work with Frampton, and he was the man. So what's changed? One defeat where you went in there with an injury and got beat, regardless of the bullshit and whatever. He lost the fight, yeah. So what? One defeat now means that you can't stay with that trainer. I find it bizarre.
We had a chat, Sam, and I was saying that he was like praising Shane McGuigan when George Groves won the world title as well, saying how much of a great trainer he was, and he was saying before the Bellew fight that how much he'd improved under Shane and how much Shane had helped him and done this and that, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
But maybe this is the way I've been looking at it. Maybe things haven't changed for David. Maybe things have just fucking changed for Shane. Shane has been obviously trying to establish himself as a trainer. He's had a couple of guys who have fought for world titles. Frampton just lost his, unfortunately. Groves just won his, fantastically. Maybe Shane just doesn't want to be pandering to the ego of David Haye. Maybe he doesn't want to be in Miami on a fucking yacht doing pads for 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean? He just got married. He's got Frampton. He's trying to get him back on the world title trail. He's got Groves, who's going to be fighting domestically for a couple of big unification fights. Maybe McGuigan just doesn't fancy it anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. I think also, you don't want to, maybe as a trainer, if I was being trained by somebody, I'd want them to 100% believe I was a winner.
Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't believe that anymore. Maybe he thinks because of the injuries, because of his performance, because he wasn't the David Haye that he thought he was, hitting the pads, maybe he's lost faith in him, and as you say, maybe he's just, he's thought, I don't need this.
It's possible he's looked and gone, David, you're not going to win a world title. I'm sorry, you're not going to win a world title again, it's gone. And it does seem very amicable, though. Which, listen, when he left Booth, who had been the mastermind of his entire pro career to that stage, it was very acrimonious. You could see they'd fallen out. They still don't talk nowadays, I'm led to believe. So, but it doesn't.
I think that's different stages, isn't it, as well? I think, if you look at it, Booth had done everything for him, where McGuigan hasn't really, has he? He's stood in his corner against a couple of useless fighters, did he really? He hasn't done much, but I suppose when you're looking at it like a father and son sort of long-term relationship, it's very, very different if someone says, I don't want you anymore, to when you've had a year or a couple of years with someone, it's different.
Especially when the fighter's older than the trainer. You can't really have that father-son bond. I don't know, maybe you can, I don't know, but I just find it weird. Realistically now, not being a prick, I'm trying to work out where David Haye goes. Who does he get trained with? And I'm trying to not be blinkered. I've got to be realistic, as much as it pains me.
Being out in America, he's got to now be looking for an American trainer. Looking through him, you've got people like Jonathan Banks, you've got Virgil Hunt, you've got Freddie Roach. Would he want someone like that?
That's if he chooses to do all his work in America again. He's done all his rehabilitation over here. I know he still pops over to Paris and does his David Haye celebrity fucking globetrotting shit he does. But does he want to do the next training camp when he's ready to do that in America? Who knows, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went to America.
It could be your favourite, Joe Gallagher, mate.
Well, the big thing I'm looking at in terms of where he goes and stuff is it's not about who'd be a best fit, it's about who's got a heavyweight. And if you look at someone like Virgil Hunter has just launched the career of Tony Yoka, who was the gold medalist who beat Joe Joyce in the 2016 Olympic super heavyweight final. He's not going to want to take on David Haye. He's going to want to build Tony Yoka. A guy like Peter Fury's got a couple of heavyweights. A guy, these guys have got heavyweights. Like Dave Caldwell's got a couple of heavyweights. So for me, the biggest question is who needs a heavyweight and who would be interested in establishing themselves as the trainer of a heavyweight. And for me, the obvious question, if he's going to stick at home, is Tony Sims. Tony Sims has passed on Anthony Joshua now to McCracken. He's not a Tony Sims fighter. He's a Rob McCracken fighter. Who's Tony Sims got in those upper weights? Nobody. Now they're both London based.
Essex.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what the relationship's like between them. I don't know if there is one or if there ever has been one. But for me, it should be about who's got a heavyweight and who needs a heavyweight. And for me, if we're looking domestically, that's definitely an option.
I think if you're a trainer like that, that's quite established, you don't want a washed-up David Haye. Or a David Haye, or an injured David Haye, should I say? He's not washed up. Listen, I like David Haye. He's a great boxer. But do you want to take a risk? I think Shane McGuigan took a risk and it backfired. I think. I don't know. I don't know too many trainers that would put their reputation on the line and want to work with someone like David Haye. I don't know. It's tough. If it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I'd say every trainer would be throwing their hat in the ring. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. It really is.
It's a lot easier to choose the promoters. The trainers that won't take him. Booth, obviously not. I don't imagine he's going to go to Joe Gallagher. I fucking hope not. I'm pretty sure it would be London or the States.
Just to throw out a question, Sam. Would you still love him if you had Joe Gallagher saying his tactics? Would you still love David Haye as much?
I'm pretty sure I would.
You'd find a way.
Find a way.
Brilliant.
Listen, I think he'll stay London and Essex based. Peter Sims ain't the worst shout.
Tony
or Peter Sims? What do you reckon?
I think Tony. I think Tony was ready to establish himself with Joshua, and then I think Joshua was snatched away. Maybe not unfairly, but I think Joshua was kind of taken away from him, and I don't think he would mind having a bit of David Haye.
I've just thought of one. What about Don Charles?
Chisora?
Yeah. What about Don Charles? What about the iBox? Eddie Lamb at the iBox. He ain't got any heavyweights. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
I think Don Charles would take him. That's for sure.
I think Don would take him.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I know he broke his jaw once, and Don had to eat for a straw for 6 weeks. That's a true story. That's a true story. He was on
I think they're alright now, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I think.
Press conference.
Yeah. David Haye broke his jaw, and he went on a David Haye diet. That's what Derek Chisora said. I think Don Charles would take him.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Or he just self-trains and just uses his guys that he just goes for a couple more paydays with his sort of strength and conditioning and rehabilitation guys, and who knows.
He goes through a fucking 8-week camp with Dizzy Rascal at the helm.
Who knows. Let's move on. There's a press conference tomorrow in London. Matchroom, they've announced their 1st of July card, which was cancelled on June the 3rd. They've now re-announced the same card minus the main event that they had. Doesn't feel like an O2 show to me. But what they have done is announced that they're going to be unveiling a major new signing, is their wording. I'm going with Joshua Buatsi. Any takers?
Yeah, I'll go Buatsi as well. I've heard for a while behind the scenes that Buatsi's a done deal. Yeah. The only other thing I could see is Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce has to go professional in the next few months because he's over 30 already. I know heavyweights have a little bit longer in terms of longevity, but you got to stay relevant, right? And I think Joyce will turn over this summer. But I think tomorrow's signing will probably be Buatsi.
Kev?
Yeah, well, listen, I've heard there's an amazing heavyweight out there called Kevin Smith. It might be him.
Is that an exclusive?
Lads, I haven't got a clue if I'm honest, but I'll go with you two, Buatsi.
Buatsi.
It's for a show where, I tweeted the other day, I like the guys on it: Lawrence Okoli, Isaac Chamberlain, Craig Richards, Frank Buglioni, Reece Bellotti, Jake Ball, Danny Dignam, Ted Cheeseman. Doesn't really make it an arena show.
It's a next gen show, isn't it?
Conor Ben's on it as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Conor Ben's on it, but I mean the headline, unless they're going to announce a big headline, the headline is Buglioni v Ricky Summers, and I don't know who the fuck Ricky Summers is. Do you know what I mean? Never heard of Ricky Summers. But for that to headline an arena, we're maybe seeing now the aftermath of 3 pay-per-views in 3 months. I think we're seeing now what happens when you do that and when you roll out those sorts of shows. And this, for me, is scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I mean, when the card got cancelled because of Dillion's foot injury. That's what they said, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was postponed. All the boys on the card told me, 1st of July. But I was led to believe there was going to be a big main event, and Callum Smith challenging James DeGale was what we'd originally heard. Obviously, then Callum Smith's now agreed to fight Darrell in the States. O'Hara Davis, Josh Taylor, which has now gone on to the Cyclone show the week later. So there's a lack of big names available, which is fair enough. I don't mind that, but I don't know how they're going to sell out an arena with that current card, and that's just my honest opinion of it.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I don't know too much about Ricky Summers. Obviously, I've had a look at his record: 13 wins with 5 knockouts. But if that's the main event, it sounds more like a Box Nation show, doesn't it? I don't know. It ain't going to sell out an arena. They'll probably give tickets away, wouldn't they, to the local schools or something to get people in there. But it's going to be a tough one to sell out, that's for sure. But then there are a lot of young prospects on it, aren't there?
A lot of them I really like.
That attract.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I actually like, Lawrence Okoli, Reece Bellotti, Isaac Chamberlain, Conor Ben. I quite like them, but do I like them enough to spend 150 quid on a ticket? Probably not.
You would imagine the issue will be shifting those big money tickets. You know what I mean? You'll always get guys that will take the 40s and the 60s for a night out, but when you try to shift your 100s and your 200 ringside tickets, I just don't know who really will care enough about the quality of the card to buy those. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the truth.
I agree. It's a tough one, isn't it? There's going to be a lot of early stoppages, I think, on that. So that's what people want to see, isn't it? I think so.
But who else can you put on it though? There must be. If we're looking at a Matchroom stable right now, who else can they put on that card?
Who's available?
Yeah.
Why didn't they put DeGale on this card? That's what I want to know.
Is his teeth alright? Has he got all his teeth now? Or?
Where's Nathan Cleverly?
Yeah, it's true. Listen, there's people out there, isn't there? That haven't fought for a while.
Yeah.
That's the truth, yeah.
When was Ricky Burns' fight? February? Said he wants to fight again. I don't know. Anthony Crolla, March. These guys want to fight again, so why not put them out?
Yeah.
They're more established than the rest of the card.
It does need help, that's for sure.
It needs help. Dillian was a good fight with Wax. I know you liked that fight a lot.
It wasn't a main event.
Yeah.
It wasn't a main event of an arena show for me.
See, I really like that fight. But then I'm a massive Dillian White fan, and I think Wack is was a great opportunity for him to get up the rankings. I just thought, for me, I would have gone to that and gone VIP and gone full Wack on that. I would have. I'd have liked to have gone to that. Definitely, I think that's for me, that was an interesting fight that I wouldn't want to miss.
I don't know. What about you, Craig? Is there anyone off the top of your head you think why not put him on it? Or
I don't know. I think you made a good point when you look at guys like Crawler, especially when you look at a guy like Cleverly who fought fucking ages ago, man. Like his fight against Bremer was a long time ago now. So when you look at someone like that, and when you look at if you have that as the main event, and you have Buglioni as the co-main event, if they both blow their guys away, or if they both look good, all you're doing is starting to write a story for an all-British match, an all-British fight, do you know what I mean? And I know Buglioni's been beaten at super middle at world level, but you know, Matchroom love to sell a story, and for me that could have been an opportunity to do that. Crawler, I think give Crawler a little bit of time out. He fought Linares back to back. He got schooled both times. Give him a little bit of time out. Burns was outclassed. I think, you know, if you're going to bring him back, you're not going to bring him back as a main event or a co-main event. You're going to bring him back fighting a European level guy. But there's names there, man. Of course, there's names there that could be fighting.
Yeah, I just think they need to find something for this card. But the card is 4 weeks away, is it? 1st of July, what's it, 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 now.
So they may struggle to find a big fight. Do you know... I know they've got Ndongo now. They've got promotional rights for Julius Ndongo.
Yep.
He could come and make a defence of his title that he won off Ricky Burns. Is it going to really matter to anyone?
Who wants to see that? Nobody in the UK wants to see that. Apart from diehard fans.
I don't know.
I don't think that helps the card at all. I think someone like Nathan Cleverly to build up has created the story. I think would be perfect.
Yeah.
But, and he's been out for ages. You know, there's no reason for him not to be on this. Really, you know, we all know he likes to box in Wales, but this would be perfect for him. I think.
Time will tell if they do anything to that card or if they just wing it and hope it does well. Press conference for that tomorrow. I think I'll go down there and see who the major new signing is. I'm going with Buatsi on it though.
Yeah.
Tuesday, there's also another press conference in London. Chris Eubank Jr., the announcement of his fight.
Does Kev know?
Does Kev know he's fighting?
Yeah, half Abraham. Yeah, 15th of July. So
Is it 15th of July? I didn't even know it was 15th of July.
at the SC Arena.
Or
There
the
we go.
22nd, no? I thought it was the 15th or the 22nd. I didn't know they'd set a solid date.
Kev's the man in the know. You just worry about your job and let Kevin
Listen, that's what my connections have told me.
I'm
So
your
SC
connection. Who's
Arena.
telling you this shit?
Listen, I'm not allowed to say. I'm sworn to secrecy. But that's what I've heard anyway.
Either way,
Yeah.
Wembley Arena's better than doing it at that shit show we went to with Olympia, where it's basically a place they're used to selling cakes and furniture and stuff at ideal home exhibitions, and they just happened to whack a ring in the middle of it and said, go on. Well, yeah, Wembley Arena's better. We're going to have the same issues. Who's going to be on the card? They're going to be scratching around the smaller hall promoters and finding one or two unattached guys to fill up the card. But initial thoughts, Craig, Arthur Abraham coming over here to challenge for Chris Eubank's world title, which is what it is, the IBO super middleweight world title.
Yeah, it is a world title. And if Ed Levine, my mate, the president of the IBO, is listening to this, I look forward to watching this world title fight. Yeah, Chris Eubank Jr. Abraham is definitely, in terms of class, it's definitely a step up from the Quinlan fight. Arthur Abraham has fought and beaten, whether contentiously or obviously. He's beaten a lot of British competitors. Beat Paul Smith, beat Martin Murray, beat Paul Smith again. He's had a lot of scraps. Carl Froch dispatched him quite comfortably, but he's a decent level guy. He's a very durable guy. I don't see Chris Eubank Jr. stopping Arthur Abraham, and I think that's going to be his main problem as he continues to move himself up the super middleweight rankings. I don't see him having enough power to stop these guys, and it'll be interesting to see if I'm proved wrong. But I think Abraham goes the distance, and I think Eubank probably just outworks him, outmaneuvers him, outpaces him, but I can't see him having the power to stop Abraham. I don't know if Kev disagrees.
It's the biggest shock for me is Abraham actually coming away from Germany. You know, it's unbelievable. But and especially coming over here. But I don't know. I've never rated Arthur Abraham. I respect him because he's a hard bastard. You know, let's have it right. But he never does anything that stands out. He's a solid guy. But yeah, I agree with you, Craig. I think Chris Eubank bullies him, I think, with speed and power. I don't think he's got the power to knock him out, but he does punch hard in combinations, and I think that's going to be enough to put Abraham on the back foot. I could maybe see a late stoppage with a flurry of punches, but I don't see a knockout. But yeah, no, it's an interesting fight. It's definitely one that's going to push, if Eubank does look good and does it and wins, I think it will push him up into a better, maybe a slightly bigger world championship fight, but or for a slightly bigger title. But no, it's a decent fight, isn't it? I think that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, are you saying that IBO isn't the key organisation in the world right now? Because that's what it sounds like.
No, listen, they're a fantastic organisation. I'm not saying that at all. Craig, that's for you, by the way. But, fantastic organisation, really well run, very professional. Just don't really know many of them.
Do you know what? Fuck the IBO. I wrote an article in the IBO with Ed Levine, and he told me they were going to put it in their newsletter and share it amongst all their fans, and they never put it in there.
Did they not?
So fuck the IBO.
He didn't say when, did he? He didn't say when it was going in. It might be in July.
Oh, big deal. Joshua fought Klitschko. Oh, get over it. Craig Scott wrote an article. Boom, deal with that.
They didn't even mention that IBO was being fought for until it was basically already won. You know what I mean? No one really... They didn't even mention it. But listen, this fight is still not a world title fight, as much as they're going to say it is. But Arthur Abraham's a name, and he's a name known to British fight fans. So he's a good opponent. I thought it was going to be Kessler. When I heard Kessler was coming out of retirement, I had a feeling it was going to be Kessler.
What's a tougher fight? Kessler or Abraham?
I think Kessler is a tougher fight. But he's been out the ring for too long. I think if he was still boxing, I think it'd be a very tough fight, that one.
I like Kessler,
but how many years is he out now? 2, 3?
Yeah, I think Kessler's more dynamic in terms of what he offers, isn't he?
I think he's a better all-round boxer, and he's a harder puncher. I think that's what that shows to me. But I think he could not necessarily knock Eubank out, but I think he could stop him in his tracks. Where I think Arthur Abraham is sort of more of a come forward fighter, but I don't see him. Don't see him looking too good against Chris Eubank.
Yeah, I think Eubank wins quite convincingly, but I'm kind of the same as you. Like, I don't think he's actually going to stop him, and if he does, it will be the ref saying, right, he's had enough, rather than concussive shot that would end the fight. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, 100%.
Is that a problem? Is that a problem for Eubank at either of the weights? Is that a problem for Eubank at middleweight and super middleweight? Because when you look at how long it took for him to really break through the defences of Nick Blackwell, obviously we know what happened to Nick Blackwell, God bless him, but I mean, Eubank never stopped him. He never stopped him, and with respect to Nick Blackwell, he was never a world level competitor. Is that lack of power an issue that's going to haunt him at maybe middleweight and definitely super middleweight?
Is this fight obviously super middle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be super middle. Abraham ain't fought middle for years, and
Abraham's not fighting.
I don't think Eubank's going to go up and down. I don't know how powerful he is, Eubank, and can he beat the elite on sheer speed and technique, or does he need to be able to bang a bit? So yeah.
You know what? For me, right? I think he's got massive power. Yeah, I'm going to throw it out here now. You two can agree with me disagree with me if you want. I think he's got huge power. I think the problem with him is his balance. When he's throwing his massive shots, he's always off balance, so he can't get the right power into it. You know, we can all look good hitting pads, but when you hear him hit pads or hit the machines, the sounds that come out of it, he's obviously got power. I just think when you see him throw punches, he's always off balance, or he's crossing his feet, or he never stands back and really puts it into it. I don't know why. That's what frustrates me with Chris Eubank Jr. Definitely, because I think he's got it all. I really do. I
think that's a fucking tremendous observation. The fact that you've noticed that he crosses his feet, and when you said that there, when I remember when he was fighting Quinlan. He was trying to throw in combinations, but he never really looked as though he was planting his shots. He looked as though he was maybe on his heels. He was trying to throw threes and fours, but he was on his heels. And obviously,
100%.
and if you're in that sort of scenario. You're not carrying that power from the body. You're just connecting with shots, but you're not really damaging anybody with those sort of shots. So yeah, I think you're spot on, mate.
Thank you.
Good shout.
There we go.
Good shout.
Cool.
Time will tell, isn't it? If he can knock Abraham over, is that something he can fix, or is it now a bad habit that he's got of throwing his power punches while leaning back? Do you know what I mean? I suppose they've got to be doing more work on the gym, but who's his head trainer? Do we know?
Exactly, that's the problem, isn't it? Who's actually going to help him to sort this out? His dad? Himself?
Yeah, right.
Ronnie Davis, Eubank Jr.
Well, listen, I didn't want to mention Ronnie because he just carries the belt in and the t-shirts in, doesn't he?
Yeah, someone even
he's
told
worth
me,
more
you
than
know.
that, isn't he?
Someone told me that Ronnie is, you know, he's not, I wouldn't say open about it, but people that he knows and trusts, he's told them, look, I'm there because they pay me to be there. I don't really do a lot. You know, he's got a relationship from previous, but I don't think he has much involvement apart from being a warm body.
Do you know what I'd love to see?
David Haye train with him.
Ronnie slap Chris Eubank Jr. like he did his father. I tell you, I would love to see it. Just slap, come on, get into it. I'd love to see it, just to see the reaction on his face.
But that's a problem, though. Like that's an issue, right? Because look at where he is now. He had the WBA interim title at middleweight. He's the IBO champion at super middleweight. He's never been able to hold down a trainer. Now, when you move on and when you're looking, he had Adam Booth for about 26 minutes. Adam Booth was his trainer, and Adam Booth went, "Fuck this, man. This is a circus." When you start talking about legacy and cementing legacy and thinking about how you're going to be remembered, you know, there's no bond there. It doesn't have any bond there, and I feel it must impact him in preparation to a fight, because it seems almost as though he does everything off his own ego. He doesn't have someone he can trust. He doesn't have someone he can rely on. He doesn't have someone who will say to him, "Chris, you're being a bit of an arsehole, mate. Do this, do that." All he's got is his dad patting his back, wearing a fucking leather waistcoat, and it just seems as though he's a bit lost. And I think people need that guidance. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's got huge potential, and I think he's always shown huge potential. But, you know, going back to the Billy Joe Saunders fight, he needed someone to give him a slap and say, "Wake up."
Yeah.
You know, he needed a real strong coach after 2 or 3 rounds to go, or trainer, whatever you want to call him, to go, "Come on, sort yourself out. You're better than this." Not someone just standing there glaring at him, you know, from a distance, giving him some weird eyes, you know, as if like some telepathic, you know, things going on here. I don't get it.
Some sleeveless telepathy.
You needed someone to slap him and say, "Come on, you're better than this," you know. And that worries me when he goes in against big names and better fighters, that he'll just end up doing the same thing, because that's all he knows. You know, I believe that. I think potentially he could be amazing. I think because of his character and his surname and, you know, what goes with him, you know, Eddie Hearn, he'll work with anyone if he can earn a pound note. You know, I love Eddie Hearn. I think he's great. But even he said, "I've had enough of these. Get out." You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know where he goes. I don't know.
He has to do something on ITV. He has to secure a big title or a big fight on ITV for them to sustain that deal, I would imagine. Me and Sam went to the Poxon show and fucking shout out Richard Poxon and Poxon Sports. They're doing what they can do, but when what you're used to doing is running a show in Preston, running a fucking box office show in London is a different ball game. It's a different ball game. So I think they're doing whatever they know how to do, but I think they've got a long way to go as well.
Yep, definitely.
It didn't feel like a pay-per-view show. Let's put it that way.
No.
Listen, they've got work to do. They've got work to do, and maybe their show will get slightly better. Maybe don't let Chris Eubank Sr. be part of the ring walk. And actually, I think he was dancing at the top of the stairs as Eubank Sr. as Eubank Jr. It's just a fucking circus. It was but then I suppose they're going to let the Eubanks have the rule of the roost and do what they want while they bring the money in, and Poxon can only be looking at the positives for it. So listen, maybe they'll get some good fights on the undercard, and it'll be a decent show.
Hopefully.
What else we got?
Kev, do you watch your boxing on Friday night? The Box Nation card, Bradley Skeet fighting Shane Singleton. Couple other domestic wars on there as well. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it actually. I stayed up. I thought, you know what? Let me give him one last chance. And yeah, they done brilliant. I thought. Yeah, I enjoyed most of the fights on it. If I'm honest with you. Obviously, the two fights that stood out massively was obviously Bradley Skeet. I think he looked really good.
Yeah.
I think one thing, you know, I like Bradley Skeet throughout his whole. I've watched him since he was probably 3-4-0. But I really like him. One thing that I used to get frustrated about was power. I didn't think he had much power, but as he's got older, he seems to now have that. And yeah, I like him. I think, you know, he was outstanding. I thought Shane Singleton is quite limited, but I thought he had the heart of a lion. Really, really good fight.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that fight. I wasn't planning on watching it, and then I found myself on a bus for a long period of time, and I thought, fuck it, I'll put that on. And yeah, I thought that fight was tremendous. Really exciting fight. First couple of rounds, I've seen a couple of guys on Twitter giving the first 2 rounds to Shane Singleton. Guys like Enzo Macronelli, a couple of other people gave Singleton the first 2 rounds. And then you look at Skeet, just thought to himself after a couple of rounds, fucking, I'm just going to stand here and we'll see what happens. And he just had that, sort of bow and arrow type 1-2. I hope that makes sense when I say a bow and arrow type 1-2. He's standing side on, he flicks the jab out and just comes through with that big straight right. And it just worked. It just worked time and time again. I think every knockdown was a simple 1-2 like that. And Singleton was tough, but I think the stoppage was definitely at the right time. And I really enjoyed the fight. Did you see it, Sam?
No.
Okay.
I recorded it. Go on.
One thing I get frustrated with is boxers, like Shane Singleton done it before he got stopped. He just dropped his gloves, stuck his chin out, and took about 4 or 5 shots before the bell went.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. It frustrates me. You know, what are you doing? You know, seriously, what are you doing? Like Nathan Cleverly does it. It just does my head in. You know, and I love Nathan Cleverly, but they do it, and I just think, what are you doing? It's ridiculous. You know, you protect yourselves at all time. I understand that, but if that's just to show your how strong you are, and then you get stopped 30 seconds later, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, great fight. I really enjoyed it. Besides that bit,
I went to record it and went to watch it when Craig texted me and said that's a great fight. And I went to, and the fucking box hadn't recorded it. I've had a fucking nightmare this week with shit not working. Fucking faulty battery.
You know what it was? He was recording Housewives on the other side, wasn't he?
I wish.
Listen, he bought a Range Rover and that doesn't work either, so don't worry about that.
It's just the battery, alright? It's just the battery.
What about Lee Markham, Joe Mullender?
Great fight.
What a fight.
Absolute banger. You knew it was going to be a great fight though from the first one, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, the first fight was epic.
Can you remember where the first fight was? Wasn't the first fight on Dave, on the undercard of Haye against Arnold Goodrigan?
Yeah. It was, yeah.
See? Say what you want about David Haye. He puts on some fucking shows.
Listen, he needed that fight though, didn't he? But yeah, no, what a fight. You know, 2 absolute warriors. Respect to both of them, without a doubt. Yeah, I can't wait for the third one, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Maybe they should stick the third one on July the 1st.
Yeah, I would rather go and watch that. I think the thing with those two guys, when you watch the first fight, you're thinking, right, there's a rematch. I wonder who'll change what they do. I wonder who'll change their approach or their tactics. Nah, we'll both just come in again and scrap like fuck again, and that's all it was. It just went at it, man.
Yeah, I saw a few highlights of it. I don't think they're guys that are technically, you know, gonna do a lot of technical flashy shots and angles, and they're just tough bastards.
Yeah.
Two tough men.
I thought Joe Mullender won quite convincingly. I thought myself. I know he got the result, but I thought he won it more convincing than what the judges said.
Yeah, I thought Malander won as well. I had Malander a couple of rounds up, to be honest.
Can you score it on 30-second highlights from each round that I saw on Twitter? Can I score it from that?
What would you give it? 2-1?
Yeah. No, it's a good fight, I guess, and maybe they will do a third one.
Do you know what it looked like to me though when I was watching it on TV? It looked like a university boxing tournament. Do you know, like, the venue was like so small, and they had little posters on the wall and little bits of fucking yeah, like cheesy bits of spray paint on the wall or something. I was like, oh,
Looked like an American gym, didn't it? Like
Yeah.
basketball. It was that kind of feel.
yeah, it was
wasn't
weird. It looked like they just folded the fucking seats out from the wall like you would in an old assembly hall. That's what it looked like.
That's the Brentwood Centre. That's where they're doing the MTK shows that I've been going to. It's a slightly strange venue, it is, but listen, it's a fight at the end of the day, and should boxing fans really care about the event and the location because we do.
When you're watching it on TV, I think you should care.
Yeah.
When you're there, if you go to an MTK show there and you're soaking up that small hall atmosphere, no one gives a fuck. But if you're tuning in and you're paying to watch boxing on TV, and it's got BAM spray painted in pink across the wall, like, I just don't know. It seemed a little bit cheap.
Yeah.
But listen, the fights were good.
Yeah, I think the other way round. If I go there and see that, I'm like, give money back, please. If I'm sitting in my front room, I'm like, I don't give a shit, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's slightly different to when you're paying for it. How much was the ITV pay-per-view, Kev? 12.5 quid?
$12.95, wasn't it, or something?
I don't know. But when you were watching it, did you sort of think, am I really watching boxing, or are Trini and Suzanne are going to come out and tell me how best to design my curtains in half hour? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does it matter? I don't know. It's another debate, I guess.
I'll tell you right now, John O'Donnell beats Bradley Skeet.
Ooh.
I wonder.
I think there's a wager between me and you on that one.
Let's do it.
How much?
I'll have it.
Listen,
I'll have it.
it'll never happen. Myself and John and a couple other guys were going back and forth after the fight on Friday night. John is fucking dying for the fight, but I don't think it will happen, to be honest, Kev. I think we'll have to both save our money.
Do you know what's the strangest thing I've heard? Yeah, Bradley Skeets mandatory has been ordered, isn't it? Dale Evans.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's been ordered. Dale Evans, who hasn't really done anything to warrant it.
Nope.
And so Singleton was a voluntary, was he?
Singleton was a voluntary. Dale Evans, who is 13-3-2 and has beaten nobody with a winning record, is the mandatory. But John O'Donnell, who's 32-2,
and the English champ,
the Southern Area champ, is boxed all over the world, is not got a look in.
Terrible.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Terrible decision.
But yeah, whatever, man. John O'Donnell's a good guy. Hopefully he gets that fight and the best man will win. You never really know. Skeet's a slippery operator. But yeah, we'll see. What do you think, Kev? You think Skeet shits all over him?
Yeah, I think. Listen, John O'Donnell, great fighter, isn't he? He's a decent boxer. I just think he's too slick. I really do. I think Bradley Skeet's just too slick. Now he's got power. I think he's quite dangerous now as well. So yeah, I think he beats him. But yeah, good fight to watch, definitely.
Yeah, it would be a good fight, definitely.
What else? There was something else we was going to talk about. I can't remember.
I'll throw one out. Has anyone ever heard of Naylor Bull?
Who?
Naylor Bull?
Naylor.
The heavyweight who fought on that fight.
No.
Two wins, one knockout. Oh mate, I was wetting myself against Mladen Manev, who's only got 2 draws on his record, no wins, no losses.
Oh.
And in the first round, Naylor Bull was dropped, and the bell went and saved him. Honestly, he was dropped so heavy, the guy fell through the ropes. This was Box Nation's big heavyweight that was going to take on the world. And he fought this guy, and the guy caught him with a massive left-right, dropped him, the guy fell through the ropes, the bell went, the referee literally picked him up, carried him to his corner, was counting as he's leading him to his corner, sat him down, and he won on points. I don't know how, in a 4-rounder, you get knocked down and you win on points. I don't get it. But there we go. But yeah, what a phenomenal knockdown.
Surely the best you can do is get a draw.
I agree 100%. But listen, he's a Box Nation fighter, isn't he?
If he won rounds 2 to 4, then he would have won by a point.
He lost the second round as well, Sam. Honestly, he got battered around for the second round because he was still out on his feet. So how that happened, I'll never know. But listen, they definitely think he's one for the future. So keep an eye out for Naylor Bull.
Well, he ain't one for the fucking present by the sounds of it. So.
Did you see Harley Ben?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he's okay, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think if his surname weren't Ben, I don't necessarily think he would be there. But,
yeah.
I think he looks okay. I think he probably will win an English title.
We just had we had a few boxers here. I don't want to name any names, but we had a few boxers here, and one of the guys that was here said simply, "He's not a boxer. He's not a boxer."
He's a good lad. He said he's a good lad. The irony of it, he sent out a tweet the other day about Conor Ben and said, you know, we're completely different. Conor has been, you know, he's been lucky. He's got the limelight on him. I've never had that. And, you know, he's been with my dad since he was at early stage, etc., etc., which is all well and good, but he forgets that he's only fighting on television because he has the same surname.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
He had one white-collar fight, I'm led to believe, and people that have sparred him said, lovely lad, just not great. Yet he's on television when some of these small hall boys that I know would absolutely dine off him they would eat him for breakfast, and no one even knows who they are because their surname ain't Ben, so he needs to realise he's in a fortunate position himself, bless him.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything there.
How far does Conor Ben go? Because I don't really... For me, I'll be quite upfront and say I'm not a massive fan of Conor Ben. I don't really rate him that highly, Kev, but I think earlier on in the video you said you quite liked him.
Yeah, I like the way he boxes. I don't know how far that will take him. That's the truth of it. He's quite an aggressive... He's a small guy. He's very aggressive. He's very in your face. He throws lots of punches. But again, he hasn't fought anybody, has he? So, you know, I think the key thing is when he steps up, we'll see how good he is. I like him. I think he's got potential, but, you know, without being rude, most boxers look like they got potential when they're fighting people with losing records. So, but yeah, it's an interesting one to watch, I think. But yeah, I think he's got potential. That's for sure. He's got a trainer that's not his dad. So,
he should be at
you never know, do you?
He should be at the press conference tomorrow. I might grab him and ask him what he thought of his half brother's comments. Try and get something out of him. I don't know. It's just a lot of boys are blessed to be part of fighting families and stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be great fighters themselves, but they've been given every opportunity to do so. So it is what it is, isn't it? But listen, nothing further to add, Kev.
No, listen, that's great. I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with that. Mr. Craig Scott, I bet you're sick of Essex. We've been here. We've done 3 videos today. We filmed at least 6, but we lost a lot of them because of things we realised we couldn't say on camera.
Yeah, we had to scrap a lot of material. Which, yeah, that's just part and parcel of doing the old videos. Yeah, for me, big shout out to Martin, Terry, Andy, the guys for the New Age podcast. Always churning out consistently good podcasts. Hopefully we can strive to be a little bit like that as well. But I've been talking to Martin a lot during the week. Very, very good guy, and he's very knowledgeable, as is Terry Chapandama as well. So massive shout out to those guys. And
Kev, you don't listen to podcasts, do you? I know you come on this one, but you don't actually listen to any, do you?
What do you mean?
Do you ever sit in your motor and listen to a podcast?
I watch all the videos and that. Of course I do. I'm a massive fan.
I'm talking about the ones that ain't not just me or IFL. You need to get on the New Age Boxing podcast, mate. Get yourself on your SoundCloud, or I'll have to do it for you. You're so old you don't really know what the fuck you're doing.
Mate, I ain't got a clue. You just said SoundCloud. I started looking up at the sky. Any noise coming out of them or thunder and lightning. That's all.
I'll send you the link. They're top boys, and they're just really good lads, to be fair. Jordan, Portobello PR, looking after these young up-and-coming small hall fighters. Top man, always involved. And yeah, he's a good bloke, so people need to sort of appreciate what he's doing for the sport. And at the end of the day, Fight Talk. We're out here, motherfuckers. We're doing our bit. We're trying. We're cracking on. We're churning shit out. The website is up and flowing. We've got 100,000 or something views. We're here to take over, motherfuckers. So jump in and get on board.
Always authentic, always real, never buying views, never buying followers, never buying shit except new clothes. Yeah?
Fight Talk Podcast.